is now up, and I will just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
Awesome.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Okay, watch that Bab. We got it. We head tapped him, and he was 1 HP, and we kind of just backed up and we reloaded. So make sure we're just looking to follow up on that and kill him. Yeah. There, maybe we can be using Electronade on her. Just whenever we get in distance of anyone, we can pretty much be using that.
Yeah. Okay.
There, probably want to just like stay backing up since we're kind of grouping up with our team. Our whole team's dead at that point, so just want to be regrouping, making sure being safe. And then additionally, just watch standing still for extended periods of time. That kind of took a lot of damage. You know, we took a lot of damage because of that. So just be careful.
It's not standing still.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah,
we can maybe talk about the alternative. We can talk about movement a bit. Afterwards, but yeah, just generally don't want to be standing still for long periods of time. Only ever if we're certain that nobody's looking at us.
Keep a lookout.
Come on. Where my team's at?
Uh-oh. There, just look to line of sight it, use cover. It's an ultimate, so you can get shredded very, very fast through it since it does 2 times damage. So might just be a better idea to just back up and not look to peek it, especially once you start getting low. Just use cover. Another thing is request healing. That'll get your teammates to look at you faster. Just a great button to have bound, and I think it's by default on X, if I'm not mistaken. Then also just make sure while you're walking back from spawn that you're just rolling frequently. You know, it's just it's not like you need it for anything, and it's just gonna get you back faster.
I felt when I was up here, I was peeking too much. They knew I was up there. I didn't know if I should have peeked anymore or not.
Yeah,
I mean,
not after they ulted, pretty much.
See, like right here, I know she's eyeing down those sights.
Yeah. Yep. So we can. This is perfectly fine. Just kind of shooting at what we can see.
You'll need more grit than that.
You die, right? Okay.
Yep. Watch the health bar. Once again, back up. Request healing. That way your supports can.
What killed me?
You got hit by the wound effect. It missed you. It missed you, but
it came back.
Yeah, it came back through you.
Come on.
Lucky shot.
I didn't know that shit was. Okay.
Yeah, it does. It'll wound you, and I think it does like 10 damage or something. So you're low enough. So once again, just roll, just like kind of off cooldown as you're coming back. Just a reminder. Very nice.
Right where it hurts.
Okay. Make sure we're just keeping our eyes and ears open. That right there is part of awareness of knowing that she's up there. I think we watched her kind of walk up to that high ground, so just make sure being aware of it. Okay. Nice sticky. Very, very nice play. Good high noon.
Doing some.
Once it might recommend moving. I mean, it's slow movement, but still move around while you're doing it instead of standing still.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah.
Especially since, like, I mean, it's auto aiming anyways, right?
Where's she at?
Remember that your roll reloads all your ammo. So like right there, if like Mercy's 1 HP and you're run out of ammo, that's just gonna be faster if you roll to reload everything.
Here, take that, Mercy.
Yep,
God.
exactly. Just want to be
I
a
need
bit
to start peeking.
quicker to the punch with that one.
Yeah, I got some peeking.
Yep. Once again, pressing the E. Just one that wants to. Oh, that was weird. They're like swung. Huh. I don't know if I've seen that one.
What?
It like it didn't. We threw it at the Ash there, and then it like swung up into the air rather than hitting her. It was a bit
Oh,
strange.
it didn't attach to her?
Yeah, it didn't attach there. That was weird.
Oh shit. Okay.
I wonder if that's like a bug because the match ended. Um, okay. Very, very nice play. Tap, tap. All right. So why don't we go over a few different things here before you
Okay.
hop into a queue, and then you can hop in. I'm going to stream if you'd like to take a look at it over on Discord. Alrighty. So let's go over a couple things here. So firstly, your range on your E, right? It is 10 meters, right? So that's just important to know because you want to be able to know like who can I hit, who can I not hit. So I can from here, it will attach to them. Maybe I should have done it over here, but it attaches. But if I just go right outside of this to 11 meters, well then it's not going to attach. It's just going to do the explosion damage.
Just half
Right.
damage, right?
Yeah, and then just notice the difference in the damage that it's doing to them. Make sure that we're just using it anytime we step within that, like anytime somebody's within that range. It's not gonna be happening all the time. And let's see what's the cooldown on this again. So it's a 10-second cooldown. You know you're pretty much going to be within that range of somebody every 10 seconds anyways. So you might want to avoid maybe like just spamming it onto the tank if there are people next to you frequently, so maybe focus the squishies. But if the tank's the only thing near you, you can do it on the tank. The idea is just get it out there more frequently. There's sometimes where it kind of just came as a delay. Use it in your duels. It just wants to kind of be the first thought in your head to be using, right? Just because it's going to be a really easy way to secure a kill, right? It just takes a body shot and a sticky, and then they're dead. Besides that, just rolling. Make sure just we're using it. There's kind of 3 primary usages of roll. There is rolling for movement, which we can use to roll back from spawn faster. I'll show you another way that you can use roll as a tech in a second. But you also have using it to reload. So let's say we run out of ammo and this person's 1 HP. Well, we can roll to immediately reload and continue to shoot at them.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that at all.
Yeah, and that's just one to just kind of get used to. A lot of this, is gonna be habit stuff, right? And you're new to the character. Then you have rolling for dodging or reducing damage, right? So like you get pulse bombed, you roll to dodge to either dodge it, or you get pulse bombed and you roll to get that damage reduction, right? Which is kind of that newer thing, but it's gonna be very handy in negating damage. So looking to do that as well. I think we just maybe underutilized it a little bit, and that'll be once again something to keep an eye out for. High Noon we'll cover in a minute. I mean, I only saw one and it was pretty solid, so not too much to say on it for the moment. Movement, you started, once I mentioned it, you started to do a bit better with it, but just to get, kind of get it out of the way.
I heard you say it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then just autopilot again.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely better. It was definitely better after I mentioned it. But it was, but at the same time, we'll still go over so that it can be even better. So movement. Firstly, don't stand still. Right, that's super easy to headshot, especially to just mow someone down who's standing still. So the only time you can really do that is if you're certain that either no one can see you or no one can do anything about it. Right, that's really the big thing. Like if I'm, for example, if I go on a flank and I pop up where none of them are looking at me, well then I can stand still. But if I'm doing that for the next 10 seconds, then somebody's probably gonna look at me and I'm gonna die. Right, so maybe I might only be able to stand still for 2 seconds, and then I'll have to start moving around again. And the alternative to standing still, because we don't want to just be wandering across the map as we're shooting, is what we're gonna do is we're gonna AD strafe, right? And you don't want to be too fast with this, because if we're too fast, then you're basically standing still. If you do it too slow, well then that means that you're still easy to headshot, because you're moving in kind of a very linear path. So you want to find a nice medium pacing where we're kind of going side on them. And you don't want to be, and you want to kind of randomize it. You don't want it to just be side, because once again, that becomes predictable. Especially like the higher up you go, it'll become more easily predictable. You might want to mix it up, and maybe you start off with this, but you can mix it up, press side. Just kind of let it flow, but you want to pay attention to how you're moving as well, because if you're not paying attention, then it can throw off your aim. right? So if I'm moving to the right, now I have to adjust to the left. Otherwise, my crosshair's off of him. So you have to adjust for how you're moving. So you want to be careful that you're just being cognizant of how you're moving so you can stay on top of people. Crouching, same thing. Don't spam crouch, but just kind of add it in there once in a while as you're kind of dodging people out. So it's side, medium strides, adding in some crouches, and that's kind of movement 101 for making sure that we're not standing still, essentially. All that makes sense.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Real quick, create air roll tech. So this is a handy tech. If you come up around here, McCree can roll in the air, but this is different than that. McCree, if I roll in the air here, notice how I can't actually make it to that high ground, right? So I can roll midair, and that's handy for like dodging, like damage, right? Like if I'm in a duel or something. But it's not actually super handy in terms of like movement to get somewhere. So if I'm trying to get up here, I can't actually do that, and that's by using the McCree's air roll tech, and that's by pressing. Essentially, how that works is you're going to press your jump button.
Big deal.
Yeah, your jump button and then your roll button in a very fast sequence. So it's jump roll.
But not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
Okay.
Not at the same time. It's a very fast like tap tap. So you can run around to the training range and mess around with it. You can actually see it there if I'm just rolling along the ground. I kind of do a little hop through the air, whereas this is a ground roll right there. And then if I do the air roll tech, you actually see that I float a little bit while I'm doing it.
Okay.
So that's how you can tell you're doing it. So you can actually do it while on the ground, and that is a way to just practice it. So you can do that, like for example, you can practice that as you're just walking back from spawn, and then that's kind of kills two birds with one stone.
True. Yeah.
It kind of gets you used to it so that you can kind of, just do it anytime you need to. So it kind of just becomes muscle memory, right, if you just practice it enough. So that's a handy one because you can actually find a lot of different spots where you can do that sort of thing. If you time it right, you can even make like this one right here, which is much more difficult, but you can actually make... Oh, I did it.
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So it's that one's much more difficult. but
Wow,
but you can
that's
still do that kind of thing. Yeah.
Can you make it back?
Yeah, from over here. Yeah.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I don't know if this I don't know about this distance. Probably off of over this most certainly. And I failed it.
It looks like you can though, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Wow, that's a jump, man.
Yep. And then you could probably do it maybe even easier if I came up through here, that sort of thing. But you can do that sort of thing on a bunch of different maps. So kind of just explore and get. Oh, I did a normal roll. Snap. You can kind of just explore and mess around with it, sort of thing.
Okay.
All right. Then let's see. Are you familiar? I'm not sure how much gaming experience you have in the past. Are you familiar with a term called crosshair placement?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So not honestly, it was not terrible, but we're gonna mention it because it's important for aim. And it's just as you have probably heard in the past, it's crosshair placement is the thinking about how you're aiming, right? It's using your brain to help your aim in placing your crosshair in the best place possible to hit the easiest shots, right? And the first major step to crosshair placement is aiming at head level, because if we're walking around and aiming at body shots, well, headshots do a whole heck of a lot more damage than body shots. Across most characters, it's 2 times damage. Kiriko is now 3 times, but most characters 2 times.
Is it 2 times with McCree?
Yes, with McCree, I believe. So it's 1, 2 3/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2. Yeah, it looks like about two times. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. So it's important to be landing those because it means the difference between 2 tapping and 3 tapping, and that can alter a lot of major breakpoints. With tanks, that might be a little bit different as well. If you're talking about trying to kill a Zarya and you're hitting 1, 2, 3, 4 shots versus trying to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots, right? There's going to be a big difference, and then that's taking into account you missing shots and hitting, and then having fall off damage as well. So overall, headshots better. Aim at head level. Head level, this will make it natural. There's less adjustment. If we're aiming down here, we have to adjust up to the head. It makes the shot more difficult. If we're just walking around and we're just shooting down into corridors, shooting into shields, shooting into people, we just naturally hit body shots if we're aiming here. But if we aim up a little bit, well, now headshots just become natural because that's where we're aiming for. So just want to be looking there. Second step is aiming where you know people are going to be. So bots top left. We aim at head level, top left, so when bot comes around the corner, it's very little adjustment. It's very easy shot to land.
Okay.
Bot's left side, we pre-aim, head level, turn to the left. That way when we turn this corner, we're already lined up with the head. Very easy shots, little adjustment. These guys, they're on a slope, so the same way we look down on a Torb and up on a tank, we're going to look down on these guys. So when we turn this corner, very little adjustment to make. Much easier shots to work with. All right, all making sense?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Feel free to queue up. I think that's about it for the moment. Any questions so far?
Nope. Just trying to hope to get it all in while I'm playing, but I know it takes time.
Yeah. Yep. And once again, remember it doesn't have to be all at the same time, right? It's just by the end I'll tell you this is probably the thing you want to work on the most, and that'll be the thing to kind of put the attention into for the moment. That sort of thing. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Yeah, because I was playing that in that last game, and I was like, okay, because like you said something about like the what's her name, the Junker Queen going up to the right and coming up, and she killed me, and you said something like, we saw her doing that. I didn't even fucking see it.
Yeah.
So my awareness is whack.
Yeah. It's just noticing it, right? Or like what I meant by that is like she was on your screen, right?
Yeah. No, I know what you meant. Yeah. She was on my screen. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's definitely something to and it's hard when you first start to play because there's so much that you are getting used to.
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of flashing lights to me.
Yep.
And I'm 35. I'm not 25. I don't have I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I just don't have the gaming sense.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Back in the Sega days, man. Nintendo.
Yep.
Let's do it. I love this level too.
Oh yes, this is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I remember like a Twitter poll back in the day. I think this is the most popular map in the game.
I'm almost to know if you kept up with the sword.
I think with King's Row and like Lijiang being like 2 or 3 or something like that.
See, now I don't know where to start here.
Here, probably up on the high ground above you, like the bridge. High grounds usually are the way to go, but I wouldn't stick around once they start making progress.
Just run back over here.
Yeah, over there or over there. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So once they start pushing and they get below, it kind of depends. Like you could stay on the high ground. It depends on how much they have to contest you up on the high ground. If they have nothing to touch you up here, then then you can stick around for a little bit. Okay. Remember, you can use your E from above on these guys. So like Mercy's running below you. You can look to use it. That sort of thing. Watch the health bar, probably request healing or grab the health pack below you. Just don't want to be sticking at that HP for too long because that's going to get you shot pretty easily.
I'll miss you.
Once again, remember to use the E, right? It's 10 meters, so we can be using it from up here. Especially if we're getting it on those squishies, it's just, one tap, one E, and then they're done. Yeah, good dodge of the hook.
Try.
Good job using cover.
Oh, got one shot. Ah, damn it. Oh, he got me that time. Woo! I'm stuck.
Well, good escape. Request healing. Besides that, just be careful of getting hooked off. That most certainly would have resulted in death, like, with any better players.
Yeah, absolutely.
E.
Ah. Come on. Oh, my God. Who's healing him? Damn it. My accuracy.
Yep. Aim up a little bit, right? Go for the headshots. E needs to once again just kind of be like, right. He needs to get into the habit of just like anytime I see someone, just starts coming faster.
Damn.
And then maybe we'll go for some more mechanical stuff afterwards too.
Yeah. Guess I can go up here, right? Let's see.
Yep, probably a pretty good idea. High nooning up from the high ground at some point here probably would be.
Oh, you're
no.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That could have been a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe in that situation, maybe wait till they're a bit more out in the open.
I got here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, request healing. You're running away from your support.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I thought we were still down. Sorry, sport. I hear him down here. See, I'm all over the place.
Yep, he's kind of below you there. Yep, there you go.
I grew tired of fighting alone.
I'm not hitting a damn thing. God darn. Sorry, everybody.
Make sure that you're not re-peeking when you're low HP. Keep your eye on your health bar once you start getting shot.
Okay.
Yeah, back up, use cover. We're kind of like going back out into the open when we're like 80 HP. Make sure when you're losing the fight as well, we're looking to back out. Maybe we'll talk about that in a minute as well.
Come on, I missed him. Come on, man. Ah! I mean, I was way out there. I shouldn't be out there like that and chased him.
Yeah.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Not exactly what I expected.
I don't even know where to be on this one. Just back here, I guess.
Yeah, pull in the corner. Probably a good idea. Maybe you could potentially like push into when you're right there when soldier's kind of just on cart by himself. You can push into that electronade range, right? Just for easy kill.
Can his hook go through a shield?
No, it cannot.
Oh shit. Oh, I'm dead now.
Make sure we're just looking to use cover and solid objects.
Really underestimating me? That should be in your bonnet.
I go out this one.
Surrender to my will.
Takes so long. Wait, he was allowed to do that?
Heard you like balls.
Cannot escape me.
Ah! I'm not even thinking again. Oof.
All right, we're gonna cover a few more.
A lot. Oh shit.
A few more things. All right. So, firstly, let's discuss how do you tell whether or not you've won or lost the fight. This one's pretty important because it will dictate a lot of like, what the heck are you doing and when are you doing what. Main thing. Good.
Oh, I was gonna say when we're down when we're down somebody.
Yeah. Well, when you're down somebody, being down one person is not an immediate lost fight. And that's important to understand is that being like it being a 4v5 that's not a lost fight, that's merely a disadvantage, right? You're kind of more like you're kind of in the losing process, but it's still winnable, right? You can still do something about that.
When tank dies?
No, still even then you can still pull back. Yeah. So how to tell? Primarily watch kill feed, right? Because you're on the right track. You're on the right track. It's the primary thing. This is the basics. There's more that goes into it, but the basics behind it is are we up people, are we down people, right? And that comes down to watching kill feed. If you go to options and sound settings, you can also enable play sound when enemy and teammate are eliminated.
I think I do have it.
Great. Yep. This will just give. That's basically like an audio version of kill feed. And you want to pay attention. Oh, excuse me. Having some burps. All right. So pay attention to kill feed, right? Watch when you're up or down people. If you or the enemy team are up or down 1 to 2 people, that is an advantage or a disadvantage. Then when you're up or down 2 to 3 people, that is a 1 fight or a lost fight. When you're at advantage or disadvantage, that's just you play more aggro or you play more passive. When you've won the fight, you get even extra aggro and you go and push forwards, try to get cleanup kills. And then when you've lost the fight, you get out if you can. If you can't get out, then you let them kill you, and this way you don't stagger yourself, which that's probably a term you maybe you've heard, but probably I wouldn't expect you to know it yet. And that's just basically dying late. We don't have to go into all of it, but it's bad for you. It's not great to die when you're separated from your whole team. It runs into a lot of issues where you waste time, or you just end up causing a stagger train where your teammates just run in one by one. Lots of issues with it. So get out if you can. If you can't, let them kill you. And then finally, don't use ults in won or lost fights, right? Then it's usually just gonna be a waste if you use it. So that's usually just numbers 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then there's getting more advanced with it. There's other things that affect it, but the basics is just the kills. So that's what we'll focus on for the moment. So there'll be times, for example, there where we would kind of, we'd be down 2 or 3 teammates, and then we'd kind of still, hang out in there, rather than looking to regroup or get out or die or whatever. We'd kind of just chill out and keep fighting. So that's where we just want to be adjusting a little bit. All that makes sense?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Next, let's cover just general positioning. I think generally you're doing a fairly decent job with your positioning with a few tweaks needed, and I think that's like honestly what I'm seeing like across a lot of these things is that a lot of the general concepts are there for these things. Like you're understanding the general concepts and you're doing decent in these areas, but there's just there's tweaks that need to be made in a lot of them. So positioning, basics of positioning. If I'm standing right here and the enemy team's all right there and they're all shooting at me, it's gonna take 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover. Now from here, you're completely safe. You cannot shoot through solid objects, but in that time it took to walk here, we died, right? So therefore, if you don't have cover, you're gonna die. Whereas if I'm right here, now I can do all the same stuff, except for it's gonna take me half a second to duck behind cover, which is 6 times faster than when it just took me there with 3 seconds. Therefore, good positioning is the usage of cover, whereas bad positioning is the absence of cover. So the further away we stray from that, the worse positioning we're in. And cover's all over the place. You have slopes that you can use. You have pillars that you can do in between shots. I saw you doing that. When you're reloading, when you're being shot at, taking damage, you have corners that do the same thing. Random objects like the payload, pillar, corner, doorway, corner, doorway. Right, it's all over the place. High grounds also are fantastic positioning. I saw you using high grounds frequently, which is good. They all act as cover. They can see you. Now they can't. But I would be careful because you can use high ground poorly. And we would maybe do this like sometimes where we wouldn't really utilize the cover even though we were near it.
What are they doing? Like staying out in the open like that?
Yeah. So I mean, like if I'm standing right here, right, and I am on a high ground, right, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people can see me. Can you shoot at 5 people at the same time?
Not without Deadeye.
Not with a Deadeye, right? And can 5 people shoot at me?
Yes.
Yes. So we're probably gonna be taking a lot more damage than we're dishing out. So instead, maybe we back up away from the edge and add in a crouch. Well, now it's down to 2 people, and then we move to the side, and now it's just
okay,
one
so
person.
let me ask you this then. What do I do if they're all bunched around the corner, coming around the corner like on Queen Street, where they were all like turning that corner in the very beginning, and I was on that high ground? Like,
Are you talking about Circuit Royale?
I'm sorry, Circuit Royale, yeah.
Yeah. So if they're like you're saying, what if they're clumped together?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just give them less of you to see, right? Like if I'm right here and Roadhog hooks and Roadhog tries to hook me, well then I have to go all the way back here for Roadhog to not be able to hook me, right? It still takes time, right? It's basically the equivalent, like when you're using the high ground, the further away you get from the ledge, then that's the cover. So it's the closer you get to the ledge, the less cover you're using. Kind of the same thing as like straying away from that, right? So you just want to make sure that we're not standing here, but instead standing back here. Because now if that's Roadhog and he hooks me, I just go like this, and now the hook breaks or he can't see me, right? So when you don't always have to have all don't always have to have 4 people out of your line of sight. It's okay to see more people, right? We can peek and see, where's everyone at. We can high noon and see everybody. But the general idea is just like, don't come over here and then just go like this, or go like this, because then like we're just very exposed still, even though we are using the high ground. That makes sense.
Yes.
Yep. Let's see. Mechanics. You're seeming like you're struggling on like hitting shots, so let's talk on that for a minute. Firstly, what? Now you said you have some other FPS experience. I don't think this is the issue, but what sensitivity and DPI are you running at?
It's low. I think it's like 800 and then like 5.
Okay, yeah, that's not too bad at all. I mean, like as long as you have like a large enough mouse pad for that,
I do,
and
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a tiny thing. That sounds perfectly fine. Like mine is 800 by 4.5. Like it's so that's very very similar. So I wouldn't say there's any issue with it. Now let's say other things. So firstly, there is intentionally thinking about your aim, like we've been saying, right? Putting attention and thought and effort into it. Crosshair placement is going to help, right? You're going to have lots of situations where that will just make your shots easier, especially as you're working on that. Now, other things to work on aim. Do you you've been getting into comp, right? Do you typically warm up before you play comp?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what will you do for your warm-ups?
I would do free-for-alls.
Free-for-alls. Okay, so actually you're on the right track there. So firstly, I would recommend, I don't know if you are doing this, but I would probably recommend try hard free-for-alls over just like
I
a
do
normal
that.
defense.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so that's actually a really great area. So I would definitely recommend that. Do that before you warm up, maybe like 10-15 minutes. Then do that if you're wanting to have more practice. Do that in between cues. Do that just, any chance you get. That's going to be a great place to practice your aim. Intentionally think about your aim as you're doing that. And then also maybe mix in some other things in there as well. So maybe along with the tryhard, which that one is going to be mechanics, but also like dueling and things like that. So if you're trying to get, pure mechanics practice, maybe mix in some, there's some like custom workshop modes that can do like aim training. So there's in-game aim trainers, there's out-of-game aim trainers that you can use. So like typically when I'm warming up and stuff like that, I'll kind of mix it up. So I'll get into a phase where I'll go do some tryhards for a little while, and then I'll go do aim labs on couple next days, and then maybe I'll try different modes in game. Once in a while I'll do like an in-game aim trainer, stuff like that. So just mix it up, give yourself a bit more diversity in there, and then like once again, if you're looking to practice, maybe do that a bit more. It doesn't have to be like an hour straight play session, but just in between stuff.
Okay.
Yep. Then also, you play like every day typically, or do you like have frequent breaks in between your play sessions?
Every day.
Every day. Okay. That sounds good. If you ever do, I mean, like, just to keep it consistent, and because your muscle memory can fade very easily, I just recommend, like, even if you don't have very much time in a day, like 10 minutes, right? Like, if you just come in and do your warm-up real quick, that's just a good way to keep it consistent and not...
Yeah, there was a time where I went, like, 3 days, like, the holiday, Thanksgiving, when I went 3 or 4 days, and I could tell.
Yeah, exactly. It'll fade real fast. So, I mean, like, there'll be times, right? Of course, family and friends and holidays and stuff like that, it'll come up, and they'll take priority sometimes, But whenever, it's just like whenever you get the chance, right? Like, 10 minutes can be a good way to keep up with it. So not a end-all be-all, but just a helpful tip. I don't know. I don't think that one was... Well, I maybe like another thing we can mention, but I think that's it for the current moment. And then we'll get into some more as we keep going. So feel free to queue up again.
Okay.
Trying to remember if there's anything else.
Yeah, I just feel like I'd be missing a lot of shots. I mean, I know there's more than just that. My positioning is kind of my awareness is but I just missed so many shots when I needed. When those are ones I can tell I need to hit those ones.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at this map, so you can. This is great. I don't know what to do with the control maps.
I'm now spectating. On control maps, it's going to be a lot of the same. There's not usually as many high grounds in control maps, in spots that you just stick on. But you're going to make sure, once again, that you're using a lot of cover, right? Trying to get... I might talk about your ranging after this game, but we'll see. But just looking to play within your range, and then... yeah, it's not... it's mildly different, but honestly not too different. Once you have the kind of core concepts of positioning down.
I don't mind killing monsters, but go on, keep pushing me.
Down. Where would you go if you're here? Would you go up through that middle part, or would you go to the right?
I'd probably go up through the middle part. Going off to the right kind of isolates you. As McCree, you don't want to go on too flanky of place unless you're like high nooning, because you don't have very much self-survivability, and you're also not very fast.
There. I'm just scared because I know they're back here. I saw them run through here.
So, watch the cover. Yeah, the main thing is just like keep tabs on them while is just keeping tabs on them while still going and doing things, right? So like kind of glance back and forth, keep your ears and eyes open, watch the flank, but don't, you know, just sit around doing nothing in the meanwhile. Roll forwards and, like, you know, get the flat and get that, yeah, exactly, electromagnetic and that, yeah, get that out in there. Just closing that distance sometimes in those one-on-one duels can help. Again, make sure just keeping head level a little bit. Don't be afraid to, like, you know, just push forwards half an inch if that means the difference between
from behind.
Yeah, seeing people versus not seeing people, right? Sometimes we're maybe playing a bit too passive when we have the opportunity. Oh, nice, good job. Yeah, so sometimes it feels like maybe we're playing a tad bit too passive, where like we're not even able to see people. You want to be able to see people while still, of course, using cover, right? And staying alive. Very nice. Aim up a hair. Maybe push forwards with that. Just be a bit careful. Very nice. See, now we're starting to get some stuff in. Yep. Once again, watch. Make sure that we're not using it when they have cover.
Yeah.
And I also... So...
I thought they were going to push up. Yeah, I didn't know she was going to throw her thing
Once they see you and they know where you're at, and if you're like kind of that close and in a dangerous situation, it's just better to cancel it. You're not. They were. You know, you're right in their face, and it's not like they're kind of going to re-peek into it. And you're also just kind of standing still in front of them. So usually a good idea just to cancel it at that point.
I hit someone? Probably this. What? Who one-shots me?
No,
Face?
you were already 100 HP. I can't remember what from.
Oh, I didn't even look. Oh my god, I need to get some damn. Okay, I thought I was way more than that. What am I doing? Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. I don't remember exactly. Maybe you got hit by a Junkrat nade or something.
Come on, I hit that man. Can't even see where my.
Okay, nice. I think sometimes we're here when we're using our electromagnetic grenade, and then he really needs a shortened version, electronade, something like that. I think that you are underestimating the range of 10 meters, so you're pushing
I
forwards to
am.
like, yeah, you're pushing up to more of like a 5 to 7 meters, right? Whereas we can do it from like there'll be opportunities where like we're right on that 10-meter mark, and
How far
we're
is this, you think?
from there to there. That's probably like 13. That's probably more like 10 meters right there. Like if you threw right now, like yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm all the way like here.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's just learning the range. It's just like, you know, maybe look to do it mildly further, right? Which can keep you in some safer positioning, right?
And would you go left here or would you go through the middle part?
Um,
Round
I probably usually go through the middle part.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
Oh, there goes that.
Yeah, usually I'd go through the middle part, unless you're maybe on like once again on a flankier character like
Yeah.
Tracer or Soldier, but not really McCree.
Yeah, I'm not
Head level.
Tips on.
Yeah, just make sure we're not like kind of staring at the floor.
Can't buck that off.
Oh, come on. This is the wrong spot. We back to back. Man. Should I go around?
I think being main is fine.
Can I hit that? Okay, I guess I'm not. This is not pretty. Never
Very
mind.
nice.
Tangled with the wrong man.
Request healing. Make sure you're getting back up to full or grabbing that. That's fine. Roll to get back faster. Right, just for the movement.
I hit something?
Yes. Uh-oh.
I gotta hit something. Damn.
Yep. Just pay attention to who we're hitting with our nade. You know, May has her icicle, and Reaper
that who I
has his
threw it on?
wraith. Yeah, he threw it on May. Right, so just be careful. That gets a bit into target priority. Shoot at the easiest things to kill, not the hardest things to kill. Right, so
Yeah.
May is gonna be harder to kill than Bat. Reaper is gonna be harder to kill than I think they have a Ana or something. Their other support. Hog's gonna be hardest to kill out of all of them. So just kind of
Yeah.
adjust accordingly.
Oh, I thought.
If you need to, roll to get further away.
I need help.
God dang it.
Very nice.
Yourself wide open.
I'm not.
No one can hold me down.
Man, my aim is sorry. I gotta get. Yeah. It just all blurs. I don't see my damn thing. It's hideous.
Your crosshair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, very nice.
Oh,
He
you
didn't do shit with that. Damn.
enemy spotted.
Oh nope. Can you fight this still?
Okay. Just remember when that fight's lost, make sure that we're picking either A or B, right? Go and die or get out. There, you know, when we're hesitating, we're kind of in between.
Well, I saw someone. I guess I gotta look and see who was alive or not. I saw.
Cool.
There at that point, it was like a 5v2, and then your other teammate died, so it was a 5v1, right? So we're still kind of sticking around. So
Okay.
that just means they're. Oh.
Hell yeah.
One from you.
Won't you? Ah. Fire there.
None of this administered harmony within my class. Reality
Not woman.
All right. Well, good game. All right, I want to cover some stuff real quick.
Oh,
and
that
then
was
we're gonna-
that's Toy 3 and 4, but that was so ugly. God, I'm sorry you had to see this, man.
All good, all good. I've seen worse.
Oh, good.
All right. So let's cover a couple things. First, let's cover his range. I think that's something that would be handy. I think sometimes we're playing a bit too far away. For our range, preferred range. As McCree, firstly we've talked about your electronade range, which is 10 meters, right? So that's kind of like the start cap point, is like roughly speaking about 10 meters, right? You kind of that because you want to be able to be at that range to land those. So 10 meters is your starting point. You don't want to get too close on people because there's other characters that do that better than you, right? Like Reaper and Reinhardt, etc. Then the further away you go, you're going to struggle with multiple things like fall off damage, right? The further away you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots to kill, right, for headshots. So less damage, smaller target, harder shots, you're going to miss more. Also, you can't land nade from back here. So typically, your general range is 10 to 25 meters, right? It's kind of your preference. And sometimes, like, the closer you're going, the easier it's going to be for you. It's kind of going to also depend on, like, how dangerous is it. So some compositions and some environments might be better to stay a bit further back. Sometimes it might be a bit better to be a little bit closer, that sort of thing. So I just make sure looking to stay in that range. I think sometimes they're getting a little bit further back on the back end of it. That all makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yep. Trying to think. Well, real quick, and then we have to hop into the end stuff here. What size, like, what kind of crosshair do you have?
Oh, I'm not even sure. It's a cross. It's almost like yours is green.
What's like? Okay.
It's literally like yours is green.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. Make sure that the opacity is high enough. So make sure, for some reason mine is 80. I don't know why it's 80. Make sure it's just like 100% opacity, because you can turn it, if you turn this down, look how it kind of fades and it's not clear.
Yeah.
If you need it even more, you can turn up the outline opacity, which would kind of make it darker too. So that's things to know. If you need to, maybe change up the color, possibly make it minorly bigger if it needs to. Just I wouldn't make it too massive to where it's in the middle of your screen, just to make sure you're able to see it if it's blending in with stuff.
Yeah.
And then also it's just gonna be getting used to it. All right.
Yeah, true.
Let's start to wrap up here. So main points, quick review, and then yeah, that's it. Wrap up from there. Abilities, look to use your electronade much more frequently, right? Just get it out there doing things, step in range to use it. Roll, there's a lot of different usages with it. Use it to reload, use it for movement when coming back from spawn, use it to dodge and negate damage, use the air roll tech to travel up surfaces and to high grounds and things like that. Overall, abilities could be doing a bit more with. I think that it's especially for using our nade a bit more frequently and getting that out there to do things. You're gonna see a lot more easy value. It's pretty much gonna be a free kill if we're just using that much more frequently. So overall, that's probably about like a medium priority for you to work on. High Noon's not too shabby. I think the main thing is just make sure once in a while we'll High Noon when like everybody's like next to cover to get away. That's like the biggest counter to your ult is cover. Every character has it. So just make sure we're using it when they don't have cover, right? And then besides that, everything else seemed pretty much fine. So overall, that was kind of a low to medium priority for you to work on. Mechanics. I didn't really discuss it too much, but target priority should have the easiest things to kill, not the hardest things to kill. Crosshair placement, aim at head level. I especially started to notice it the further the next couple of games, but we're aiming down here a lot, right? Just make sure we're aiming up head level. Aim where you know people are going to be, pre-aim. Those are going to be very helpful tools. Then we talked about all those things with warming up and practicing. What else is there? Think that, and then just generally, put attention and effort into it, since that seems like it's something struggling with a little bit.
Yeah, it's the autopilot.
Yeah. Overall, that one is probably more of trying to think. I'm thinking like higher end of a medium, possibly a bit higher than that, but I think that's about a good place to put it. Then we have your positioning. Positioning, make sure you're using cover. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. When we are on high grounds are fantastic. But when we are on them, make sure we're still like kind of backing away from the edges and not letting everyone see us, right? Using cover properly on the high ground. Range, make sure you're just staying within your appropriate range, usually about 10 to 25 meters. It's not a hard lock, it's just a preference. And then know your range for your E usage. Overall, positioning, not too shabby, but I think still things to work on. I'd probably say about a medium priority for you to work on. And then finally, we have your awareness. Awareness, pay attention to what's happening with kill feed, right? Are you up? Are you down? 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight. If you've lost, get out if you can. If you can't, go in and let them kill you. No ultra won or lost fights. And then if you're winning, then push even more aggro, right? Pay attention to your health bar. This came up frequently. Request healing. Watch it. Don't go back in if you're already low. Pay attention to kind of where the enemy team's at and where your team's at. Sometimes we wouldn't notice when we didn't have any teammates with us, and sometimes we wouldn't notice when, like, Junker Queen is walking right up next to us.
Yeah.
And then all the other odds and ends within this category. This one probably goes to medium, maybe a little bit higher than positioning. So put that all in order. Number 1 came out to mechanics. Number 2 came to awareness. Number 3 to positioning. 4 to your ability usage. And then hopefully being mildly easier to implement than the others, potentially. And then especially just like E, just pressing the button more.
Number 1 thing I need to work on is mechanics.
Yeah, probably for the moment. Yep.
How do I do that? Just a lot of deathmatch.
Yeah, practice deathmatch. Exactly. Do it in death matches. Do it aim training. Intentionally think about it when you're trying to work on that. You could also potentially mix in there, because it's also I feel like a more mild topic that hopefully shouldn't be too much brain effort of just reminding yourself to press E, right? So that one's I'd maybe say that one's up top in the charts as well. Just like press the button, just like press the button, right? That one's gonna be up there too. Even though abilities as a whole, was a lower end, I think it's, honestly, it's just like it's since it's gonna be easier, I'll put that as number 2, right? So ability usage comes to number 2 just because it's the easier one to implement and hopefully and also decently important. So number 1 mechanics, number 2 ability usage, 3 awareness, 4 positioning, 5 ult usage just as a minor thing.
Okay.
Yep.
I can do that. I'll just do a lot of deathmatch then.
Yeah. Don't do it exclusively. You can still focus on it while you play, but at the same time, it's just whenever you're able to fit in space, that sort of thing. Yep.
Okay, I will, because I know my mechanics are. You mean mechanics? You mean like aiming and my familiarity or comfortableness with the characters.
Aiming and all things related to aiming is essentially mechanics, right? So crosser placement. Yeah, like crosser placement would be probably one of the big things within that, right?
Okay.
And then just general aim mechanics.
Okay, I'll work on that, and I'll get another session with you. And once a week, do you think that's enough, or?
Yeah, I mean, we usually recommend about a week, just so that, like, at least, sorry, I say minimum of time, so you have time to work on things, right? So, that's usually a good idea. So yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to get more, I'm gonna stop the recorder real quick.